WMT Watches, also known as Watch Experimental Unit, is a watch company that specializes in a vintage concept type of watches. So if you look at their catalog, a lot of their watches and the design concept is based on vintage watches. And I guess you could also consider them homage watches, but they cover watches like the Rolex Daytona, especially the Paul Newmans, Datejusts, Submariners, Divers, GMTs. It's kind of like all there. And the key point about this company is that all of their watches look vintage. So whether they add the aging, the fading, all of that, the patina, it's there. From my understanding, it looks like the company is based in Hong Kong. I'm not sure if that's exactly where the watches are made. I'm sure they get the parts from, all over the place, but that's where it comes from. Now, from my experience with WMT, I looked at their website and most of the inventory was sold out, and the watch that I was really interested in is called the Sanford MK2 with the interchangeable bezel, and it looks like it was released early January 2023, so it's been a while. And I've also noticed that several of their watches are a limited run to, I believe, maybe 50 pieces. Correct me if I'm wrong, give or take a few, maybe even 100. And so, one, these pieces are limited. Two, it looks like they're sold out everywhere. And so, and three, I wasn't able to find very many of them on the aftermarket. So it's kind of like, the way I saw it was, well, if you weren't there at the time of the release, it's kind of gone, like you're not able to get it. So I shot them an email, sent them the link of the watch that I was interested in, and just asked, hey, do you guys have these in inventory? And they got back to me a couple days later saying they do. And so after a few days of emails going back and forth, asking questions, I purchased the watch, and they said it would take 2 to 3 days to process the order, 7 to 10 days to make the watch and then ship it out. But from my experience, once I placed the order, it was about 6 days, including the weekend, to where they processed and they made it, or if they had inventory of it, and it shipped out from Hong Kong, and it got here technically the next day, give or take a day, because they're in the next day. I'm in Utah, they're in Hong Kong. But I got the tracking number on Monday and it was delivered today, Tuesday. So the whole entire process was about a week, if not 8 days. So, I mean, that from my experience, product was sold out online, messaged them, they said they have it, bought it within a week, it's here. So let's unbox it. So this is what it came in, a FedEx bag. All right, so cardboard box. So straight out of the box, there's another box with more padding. All right, so this is the box it comes in. See if you can see that. Open it up. It's like a box in a box in a box. All right, so this is their box. It says Watch Experimental Unit, Union Made, the original vintage watch store. Our vintage design, especially for the watch collectors who have long preferred original look of timepieces by years of wear. Do not remove this label, made by WMT Corp's Depot Supplies. So, there you go. We're gonna pull this tab out. I don't know if you can see that. Sweet. Okay, so it comes out all the way. That's it for the box. So this looks like the warranty card, and it shows the purchase date and the model number, or it's written as Sanford MK2. And on the back you have an instruction manual of how to operate this GMT. Okay, so let's see. So this one came with an extra bezel. We'll go over that in a second. So before we take out the watch, this is what it looks like. Extra pieces. for your links. I believe they're called spring bars. And you have a tool to adjust your bracelet. Okay. It looks like they removed, or no, this is an extra link that they sent me on the Jubilee. Oh, also, this watch originally came with a different bracelet, and I asked if they could put a Jubilee bracelet on, and they did. So, and they didn't charge me any more for that. So, that's cool. Okay, so let's see. How can I get this watch out? The Sanford MK2 with the interchangeable bezel. It's a GMT watch. Now, if you're familiar with movements, this works on a NH34 Seiko movement. So some specs, it's made from 316L stainless steel, case diameter of 39.5 millimeters, case length 47 millimeters, case thickness 14.89 millimeters. It's brushed, the finishing is brushed. Case back, stainless steel, and it has a double domed acrylic crystal, water resistance of 100 meters, 10 ATM. So it has a rotating bezel, two-way directional, so it rotates both ways. It seems a little stiff when I'm rotating it, but it does work both ways. You have the date window. So there's no clicks when you rotate the bezel. It is a, set the time. If you could hear that when I wind it up. Okay, screw down crown. Crown guards are really small, which I like a lot. So looking at the dial, it doesn't look as aged as what it did in the photos. But I'm not too worried about that. I think it looks fine. And as far as the markers, they look like they're just colored with that patina color. They don't actually look like it has like it's actually been aged. However, the hands look like they have gone through some time. So this watch comes with a two-tone interchangeable bezel, and the first is a faded one and the second is an aged one. And from the looks of it, it says you just need to pop it off. Let's see how easy that is. How easy it is to pop off the bezel. Okay, so I gotta figure out how to take off the bezel, because the video he just pops it off, but it looks like it's gonna require a little bit more. Okay. All right, so it's not that easy to take off the bezel, but I'll figure it out. But this one, as you can see, it looks like, let's take out the other bezel, so you can see the difference. Okay, so this one, the one I have, the one that came with the watch is the faded bezel. I'll probably cut to a shot where you can see it more clearly, and then this one is the aged bezel. They're very similar, but this one's just a little bit faded, and you could tell the difference in that. Okay, so we could change those. The GMT function is operational, so it is a useful watch. Okay, so now let's get it on the wrist. So I have a 6-inch wrist, and this is gonna be fairly big, but this was the standard size of, I believe, 16.5 centimeters is their standard size. Okay, so we're cutting into this video really quick because after I shot, I adjusted the bracelet, and it took me a hot minute, but I finally got it. I removed all the removable links possible, and now this is what it looks like on my wrist. So I have a 6-inch wrist. And another thing, so the tool they gave me did not work. So this piece, I don't know the technical name, but it's too big to fit the screws. Luckily I had one from there, and I was able to twist it and remove the links. But just FYI, the tool they gave me did not fit their Jubilee bracelet. And as far as the bezel, I was able to remove it. The removable interchangeable bezel. Again, there's no clicks. when you move it, but this is what the watch looks like without it. So these are the differences in the two bezels. Aluminum bezels. One's faded, one's just aged. So this one is faded, this one is just aged. You can see that. And this is the ring, the bezel. Okay, and in the video on the website, the guy just pops it off with his hand. I don't know if that was, like a prototype and he's done it so much it's loose. But when it came to me, I had to use a multi-tool and I just kind of popped it out that way. And there was no issues like that, but he just kind of popped it out with his hands and I couldn't do that. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, just an update on that. Cool, back to the video. You can see the domed crystal right there. It's also fairly light, not too heavy. And there's also the logo of the watch. The inside of the buckle. You have your micro adjusters here. So overall, the watch looks pretty good. It's lightweight, definitely gives me that vintage feel. The sweeping motion of the second hand looks pretty smooth, and I like the size because smaller sizes are way more fitting for my smaller wrists. So I'm gonna try to get the Jubilee bracelet adjusted and try to figure out how to change the bezel and insert those shots into this video, which you've probably been seeing already. Oh, also on the back, it shows, it has the logo. I didn't take off the sticker, but it's not an open case back and it says WMT, the logo, watch experimental unit. It has these numbers, 14380. I think that might be, I don't think that's the serial number or the model number because they have that as the Sanford MK2. We'll see about that. It says Sanford MK2 hand winding automatic waterproof. So there it is, guys. Sanford MK2 from WMT watches. If you like this video, I also did a video on another vintage type of style homage piece from True North Watch Company. I'll link that in the corner of this video as well as the description, as well as Veyer Watch Company, and they're both American watch companies, also based in LA, and they cover like that vintage style, the vintage inspired watches, and so check them out. I'll link both of them in the description as well as the corner of this video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Peace.